whenever you're ready, Dan.
When I was 8, I asked my dad a question. What gives someone the right to do whatever he wants? He reached to the top of his shelf and pulled down a book called The Virtues of War, a biography on Alexander the Great. I was puzzled. I asked him a simple question, and yet he gives me a book in return. Now, I read the book, and I realized that the lesson he was trying to teach me was that right or wrong lies in the hands of the person who makes the rules. History can teach us many things, but sports history is something I feel special that we can all concur to. Sport teaches us that no matter what our expectations, beliefs, and limitations may be, they will never stay the same forever. For with time, many things can grow, shrink, and change. The first half of the 20th century was defined by the civil rights movement. A specific area that caused much controversy was the segregation of black and white athletes. Here we have blacks who played in what was called the Negro Leagues, and there were whites who played in the Major League Baseball, which is now famous. On April 15, 1947, Jackie Robinson was signed to play for the Brooklyn Dodgers by its coach, Branch Rickey, changing the belief of white superiority in sport. However, it did not come without its conflicts. Robinson was met with backlash from white supremacists in the form of death threats, drive-bys, and even being fouled on purpose. Yet he was not fazed by these intrusions. He then went on to be one of the greatest players baseball has ever known. Whites admired him for standing strong and firm against the wrath of racism, and for that, they began to love him. Robinson's integration into white baseball changed the ever-standing belief that blacks and whites should not mix. Today, we encourage our daughters to be great athletes, whether that be soccer, swimming, or gymnastics. However, not so long ago, women were socially not allowed to do such thing. 2 generations ago, women were expected to be dainty, partake in things that concern the household only, and of course, no sport. Society was more sexist, and it was even believed that sport could damage a woman's reproductive system. It was so different back then that even Baron Pierre de Coubertin, the founder of the modern Olympics, stated that no matter how toughened a sportswoman's body may be, she cannot sustain certain shocks, such as sport. Now we all know these claims are preposterous, but back then it was the social norm. However, as time rolled by, women athletes began to achieve feats that amazed everyone. Most memorably, in 1932, Philea Madison became the first woman to ever swim 100 yards freestyle in under 1 minute. These female accomplishments began to sway the expectation of the dainty woman to a person who is capable to play a sport well. Once again, sport has proven to change the expectations we once had. For every sporting event has a world record. It is undoubted. But what is doubted is how long that record will stand for. We as a society have often ogled at watching a record being broken, to then quickly take up the stance that that is one to stand forever. But it will not. The mile, the most dreaded race by any middle schooler at SAS, has a record time of 3 minutes and 43 seconds by Morocco's Hicham El Jaroud. But a century ago, there was a time that no one believed could be broken, the 4-minute mile. They cried that a limit was set on human achievement, and no one could do such thing. But in 1954, Roger Bannister shattered that record into a million pieces. He ran the 4 laps in an astonishing 3 minutes, 59.4 seconds. The realm of human belief was again broken, and our limits raised once more. Now, critics may argue there are some things that we must stay firm and strong in, and hold on to no matter what the case is. That if we bow to other people's opinions, we lose a sense of respect and integrity. Religion, the Constitution, moral ethics, for example. I'm not saying don't believe in anything, nor am I saying disregard your religion. I'm saying that before you decide to go through the storm for an ideal, keep in mind the change that has brought us to where we are now. That same change continues to drive us into the future. Intentions and actions are 2 separate things. The intent to do something versus the action that's actually taking place. In sport, this line is defined in black and white, right and wrong, and of course, yellow and red. That is why I love sports so much. For everything is clear and cut by what happens, not by what is meant to be. A punch is a punch, a kick is a kick, an eye jab is an eye jab. Regardless of one's intentions, the facts of occurrence are prevalent. Matches are not debates, rather they are a medium to express what is and what isn't. Jackie Robinson proved that if a man's got the goods, he has a right for a fair chance. Philea Madison showed that women must be allowed the same opportunities as men. And record stand is a sign that we, as a people, have gone farther than we have ever thought possible. If anything is to be warranted out of this presentation, it is that we should be careful about standing strong and firm and believing in something. If we're looking at the achievements in sports, we can see that our limits, expectations, and beliefs have changed so much in the last 100 years.